That's something that isn't focused on a lot either in terms of the hemp laws and kind of bridging the gap. I mean, you see the big difference with the current medical marijuana laws versus hemp because they still want to pretend it's a different thing. And it's like you gotta when the loophole was exposed that THCA is just the precursor to Delta 9 and that's what we've all been using, it exposed, I think, a gigantic oversight that anyone that's been in prison for possession, even I mean selling, but still, it's like they're possessing what is now theoretically considered hemp, and it's like this.
Exactly.
It's like
Exactly.
that's insane. It's
Look,
insane.
I did time for way
Mm,
worse. Rotten brickweed,
mm,
rotten Mexican brickweed. I did years for it, man, and
yeah.
it's ridiculous that anybody would do any time for cannabis. Period. It's we have proven with the hemp system and the hemp market that it is practically harmless when it's done right.
Mm,
Now there's a lot of there's a lot of shady cats out there doing messed up shit, and I call it out every time I see it. I call out those funky practices they do out there,
yeah.
and they like to, people like to act like it's not true and they're not happening, but I can, man, come on. I
Oh,
dealt
for
in the black.
sure.
I know how greedy people are and the nasty, dirty things they'll do for a little money. You
Yes,
think they do with the street drugs? They wouldn't do it. I mean, all they're required to do is potency testing with him.
absolutely.
So there's a lot of guys out there that aren't good dudes that
Yes,
don't have a passion plant
yes.
and they don't give a fuck and they would do anything to make an extra dollar on it.
It's sad that this was a part of the market. This is a part of why they're trying to now take away this market from us.
And that's why, I mean, that's the stuff that we gotta, really gotta, that's why we exist, is to protect people from those kind of vendors. You know what I mean? We can check it out. We get word of it. We can spread the damn news because
Absolutely.
all some, we do have some vendors that take it upon themselves to do full consumption testing,
Right.
and I don't, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they're awful or whatever. Maybe it's just not in their budget or
Yeah.
whatever. But like you said before, Jerry, you got a lot of guys out there just doing.
Yeah.
You couldn't even dream of the shit that they're doing.
No, well, and I mean,
So I
especially
mean,
it's hard because you have especially with the hemp side, there's so many of these companies that are not direct from seed to sale. They'll just vendor out with a farm that they might hear of. That's why you see several companies with the same strains. And what's unfortunate is it's like at that point, either vet your farm better and make sure you know what product you're getting, or you really don't have an excuse as a business at that point. If you're not carrying the overhead of creating the crop, you should then at least be able to test it accurately. Like you said, people in
To
it,
be able to
they want to cut
product a lot
corners.
time,
Yeah,
the time producing it, right?
exactly. Yep.
as far as the labs go, too, none of them have one panel testing, but the majority of the hemp vendors provide you one panel of testing, meaning that they're leaving part of the lab result off.
Yes.
Why? Question mark.
Right.
We've asked the question a few times, but
What
I think it has a lot to do with that metals page. Why
that
is hemp flower so cheap? Why is it cheaper than the dispensaries? It might be because it doesn't have to hit the metal requirements.
Well, the reasoning, Jerry, all right, the testing, it costs a little bit more. So I've talked to I've talked to New Bloom, I've talked to the lab techs over there because when I first started buying hemp stuff, I got something from Cannabis. It's a batter, and it came with no COA, no paperwork, had a freaking, it was so sketchy. I was like, holy shit, I could be going to federal prison for this box. And I was like, I'm going to send this off and test it because I don't even want to smoke it. So I called around. I called the Fast Labs. I called Steve Hill. Talked to lab techs, and I got an order sheet. So it takes what does it take? It takes about 7 grams to test. Can you make some coffee, sweetheart? It takes about 7 grams to test your concentrates,
Mm.
and it's about $500 to do it. And you got to sacrifice that. And for your flour, it takes 14 grams to get
Mm.
a full panel. That's about $399. I've got the test sheet in my email from Lab Tech over at New Bloom in Chattanooga. But yeah, it just costs a little more money. It's $40 and about 3 grams of product for the potency testing.
Wow.
to get at New Bloom. New Bloom's one of 4 DA accredited labs in the country. That's why you see those tests with most of your hemp. But I got every hemp COA that I've ever got right here in the fall.
For sure.
Most of them are going to, you see a lot from Marin and other places like that, but a lot are coming through New Bloom because they are DA accredited, and that,
Yep.
that clears them like big time.
Yeah.
Because it's funny because the state sponsored programs, they sanction their own labs. You were mentioning the loophole, right?
Yeah.
And everybody likes to call it the loophole, but hemp's the only one that's federally legal. Hemp is the only one that can bank. Hemp is the only one that can give their employees a paycheck. Hemp is the only one that can use the mail. Hemp is the only one that's allowed to use credit systems.
Mm-hmm.
So who's the loophole?
Yep.
The state outside.
For sure.
And, operating and doing what, that's why they have to be so heavily regulated, because they aren't following federal laws.
Yep.
They're good. Everything they're doing is against federal laws. They're being allowed to do so, but it's
Right.
not legal.
Oh, no, it's not at all. And it's what's so funny is I think once as you started to see years ago when states went medical first, I worked in the medical industry in Denver for years, and you'd see it where both on the medical side and the rec side, once the perspective on this plant changed and people understood what it was and what it was not, it's like at that point you can't, all that we're doing now is creating more issues that are unnecessary. Like you said, you have a weird hemp thing that's actually technically more compliant than any dispensary state or state with a medical program. That's really the loophole. And now you have an issue where you're forcing farmers to pick and choose. They can grow one or the other when it is actually the same thing. But based on if it's over 0.3D9, it's this whole other thing that is regulated completely different. And what sucks, especially as a hemp farmer, you're so disincentivized to be one, because if any of your product is over that compliance threshold, now there's no path. It's dangerous. You can't sell it.
For the plant and a big pair of balls to go with it.
Yeah.
Because you are at risk to be selectively prosecuted.
Yes.
All they do is like around here, throw that shit on dashboard. Well, it's done heated up in that summer sun. Let's test it now, boy.
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
Yep.
No, absolutely. It's and then you see it is.
Like, I've had 3 companies this week offer to white label weed for me, to make me a fucking logo and brand. And I'm like, hell to the no. That is, look, hold on, wait a second. Let's look at this. We're going, oh God, I locked my phone. Bear with me. We're getting it. All right.
I still hear you, and that's good.
All right. So
yes.
That right there. Do I want to end up with that in my life? I don't think so. I don't want to have that. It's a nice reminder of why I don't want my fucking name on the bag.
Your name on the bag. Yeah.
Out who's doing that shit.
Yes.
Like, maybe I'd let David at Handcrafted Farmers,
right,
put on the bag, but that's about the only company I can think of.
No, I agree.
You don't need to give Handcrafted a product line that sells out faster than their other products already do, bro. If you made them have a selected product line that sold out even faster, we'd have issues.
Dude,
back on the whole, they're trying to now regulate the hemp market, which is now an adjacent market to the marijuana market that's not even really in existence yet. It's like they're forgetting what happens every time they passed a regulation in years prior. It creates crime, as they call it, or black market presence, as I think a more intelligent person should refer to it as. The farms, now when they grow uncompliant flower, you really think they're burning it all like they tell you?
Right.
No, that's why the thc-a flower is so much cheaper, by the way. And again, back on my whole metal point from earlier, anytime they fail a metal test, these farms, theoretically, they're selling it as thc-a hemp. I have to throw the word theoretical in there just so.
Yes.
This isn't all thc-a hemp, but we know it happens a lot.
Medical and
reg market goes picks it.
Yes. Yep.
I was joking around about lit farms doing that, but dark as that ash is on that shit that they're putting out. Yeah. They're protected legally because you're not supposed to be smoking it, right? But that's another funny thing, because like here in Tennessee, you can smoke it, right?
Mm,
We've got
Yeah.
consumption lounges.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's
So
wild.
I've always said, even like when it started, it was like people that I used to use the saying, "It's legal until you light it,"
Yep.
and then you just kind of gotta duck.
Yes.
And people started informing me that a lot of states started passing protections where it was actually even legal after it was lit, or
Yes.
technically because of
Yeah,
X, Y,
Yep.
Z, only the smoke in your lungs was combusted enough, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah. Well, I remember
it's
even in
weird.
Denver when it went from medical to rec, it was the whole thing of you have all these out of towners coming in, but they can purchase but have no place to use. And the
You can only go
first
private.
site in Denver was it was called Hotel Native, and it was an entire side of the hotel that was for either out of towners or people in state that maybe couldn't use wherever, or they're renting an apartment, can't consume, and you could go
okay.
there and use. And then you started seeing the bus tours and the lounges and stuff come out, and it's a great concept because you got to give people a place to use that don't have a home there.
Massachusetts had to consume it on private property. Still is that. Connecticut legalized it and forgot to include that, so included it 2 weeks later. So technically, there was a 2 week period where you could have walked by a police station with a joint in your hand. And I really wish that I could have done something during those 2 weeks, because
Imagine
I'm
that
not going to say
content.
I did at that point, right? New York, though, anywhere you can smoke a cigarette, you can smoke marijuana.
Very
That's
cool.
crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Well,
That's freedom of the plant right there. Like, I know
that's
people
really
don't like the smell, people don't get, but that's how you break the stigma. The stigma doesn't go until your Aunt Karen smells
cigarettes smell.
weed a couple of times and has to deal with it.
Have you smelled a fucking cigar, a black and mild?
Oh, I thought you meant like a
That's
nice
a
cigar at
fucking
first. A black and
smell.
mild is repulsive, though.
And acid Cuba
I would.
Cuba.
Yeah, it was just the 4th of July. People were smoking some Cubans. So.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree though. You're not gonna. It's like pretending the smell doesn't exist or protect. It's like that's not gonna destigmatize it. Like, okay, you
It's
like when
here
you
now.
drive down the road and you smell a skunk, do you freak the fuck out or you keep driving? Like, you know?
You recognize it's there, but I mean, it's not even like that. I mean, because the skunk, nobody's like, "Oh, that skunk smells good." You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
know, this is a little different. It can be a stench to some and an aroma to others, right? So that's different in that respect. It's all in the person beholding.
Oh,
Thing
for
for me
sure.
is like, you know, there shouldn't be a problem smoking in public, but as long as you're being respectful of others, like
Agreed.
I saw Aaron on one of his videos over in London, and he was in a crowd smoking this big joint, and I was like, I mean, I don't have a problem smoking in public, but you know, I wouldn't want
Um,
you coming up on me, and I'm out with my wife and my kids,
100%.
and you within arm's length of me
100%.
blowing, you know, of
Yep.
anything. It's just disrespect,
Agreed. Yep. Agree
It's
I
completely.
complain very common about, and trying to learn to not say names of VTubers. Y'all can put in fill in the blank because it's damn
got
obvious.
you,
There's so many of them that go into Walmart. Let's
got
go
you.
take
Oh yeah.
blinkers inside of Target. Let's go hit our
Yeah.
bong inside of Home Depot. It's
Oh, I
like, this is
know.
content, and
Watch a
they get
lot.
mad views. This is what a lot of
To
people
tell
want
the
to
truth.
see.
So I've really, when I started doing this, I watched your tier list, Jerry, because I was specifically interested in THCA flower. I found it like when I was picking up my son in October from boot camp.
Mm.
I ran out of my prescription and I went in the CBD shop and I saw THCA flower on the wall. And I'd been getting, look, I'll show you, I got a medical bottle right here. I still get medical all the time. So,
Yeah.
I mean, right on the
Yeah, you,
label, you can see where it says THCA, CBDA, and all that good stuff, right?
Yep.
So I knew what I was looking at immediately because I've been looking at these for years. And
Yeah.
I said, I'll take some of that THCA for the girls there. Didn't even know what the hell they were selling. They said it's hemp, it's cannabis, it's marijuana's cousin. I was
it's
Yeah,
like,
it's
right.
a
Sure it
it's a
is.
Delta 8. I know some people were
sure,
saying for a while. More
Mhm.
yeah,
people were calling it an alternative cannabinoid. Yeah, there were so many funny things that happened when people started having THCA hemp come out. Now, I can understand saying high THCA hemp because that just means under 0.3 D9 on test, and that's how I
Right.
looked at it when it first happened.
Yeah.
But oh my god, I remember everybody. My new favorite alternative cannabinoid. I'm
Yes.
like, oh my
Well, and
god,
I think the tough
you
thing
smoke?
too, people got sold like, people, at least for me, I was so unfamiliar with Delta 8 being in the dispensary space and stuff. So when I moved to Texas, especially before I learned of the whole loophole with hemp and stuff, you'd hear people say, "Oh, Delta 8, it's 3 times stronger than Delta 9, or Delta 10, it's 300 times." You hear all the bullshit, right? And so I think
Yeah.
certain people that got sold that bad batch of goods would hear the same thing about THC. Oh, it's the real deal. Like, no, I'm telling you, it's not. And then it was just like, oh, bullshit or whatever. And or people that say, yeah, like you said, oh, try this new alt cannabinoid, it's amazing. And for me, it took me a while to come around to it because I was just like, is this just another one of those, like, fucking? Because from the dispensary days, I saw it on the label and I'm like, okay, but is this THCA, or are you calling this THCA and it's some Delta 9, 10, 11, 12, 18 thing? And no, sure enough, I remember the first bowl of it. I was like, okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. This is it. This is
Oh,
it. Yeah. Uh-huh. And it still blows my mind. I mean, living in Texas, that I call it the United States Plug Service, that the postman drops off I'm like,
right.
it blows my mind. It really does. It's
It's great. It's the best and safest way is through the mail. It really is. Because think about this, you could get robbed in the parking lot of a dispensary. Like the dispensaries over here in West Memphis, man, they're in some fucking shady neighborhoods, dude.
mm,
Uh, They're pretty safe because they got security posted there.
sure.
But I
It can
mean,
happen for sure.
you have to go to that spot and everybody knows what you're doing when you get one of the dispensaries I shop at, the freaking sheriff's department gets their cars serviced across the street. It's funny when I'm pulling out. I love pulling, after doing all the time I did for cannabis, I love to pull out of a store after purchasing cannabis and wave at the
Wave to
police
the
across.
police. Yeah, what a blissful irony that must be, man. Yeah, wow. Like,
I'm just like trying to wrap my head around all that because it just seems like yesterday I was doing
sure.
time.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
it's so crazy. I love it. I love that we're able to have that. It's just where we are now with mail delivery cannabis. What you were saying about the altnoids and about how people getting burned with the Delta 8s and the 9s and the
Yeah.
old comment on my Deep Woods video. Somebody said, "There's always going to be someone to sell that Wizard Ultra Smoke to." If you remember that,
Yes. Oh,
I thought
absolutely.
hilarious. I was like, "Oh my god!" He said Wizard Ultra Smoke, and he
That's
thinks that we're.
hilarious.
I felt sorry for him that he thought that we're Wizard Ultra Smoke.
Yeah,
I said,
that's oh
look at other videos.
yeah. No, and it's funny. It's like some people just don't get it. They refuse to. You'll see those comments come through. THCA is bullshit or whatever. I'll stick to my Delta 8, thank you. And it's just like,
I
all right.
should
I
admit,
mean,
on
all
my
right.
first like 12, 15 purchases, maybe even like my first 15 purchases, I think I still even questioned the THCA loophole. I was like, how much can you really get if you're abiding by that point 0.3 statistic?
Mm,
Uh, because companies didn't even figure it out. A lot of the companies didn't understand what happened perfectly. So they were going out there and taking whatever the farm told them was THCA. I mean,
Oh
there
yeah.
were companies back in the
yep.
day like Upstate and Hemp Barn that already had the gas that we're smoking now from everybody. They existed, and Layden Hemp Co. Give a couple credits, right?
Yep.
They already had it. They charged a little bit more for it at that
Mm-hmm.
time, but companies like Arete and JK Distro and the big names a year and a half ago that
Yeah.
people would go back Black Tie,
Yep.
HMP slash hemp cartel, depending on
When you
how
got in the
old
game.
they weren't always this good.
Yeah.
Occasionally it was just like, what is this hay you sent me that some reason makes me feel funny and high? This is
Yeah. Right. Absolutely.
Lord, man. Yeah, some of that shit that was out there. God, I'm glad I came in after they got it figured out, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I
once they
remember
figured out it's flour.
there was one pack I got probably a year or so ago, and I looked at it under my little macro lens that I have, and it was so sprayed that it looked like there was like a crystal clear shellac on the leaf. Like I mean, it looked like it had been dipped in like a rosin, like a shellac. Like oh,
You want to talk about spray packs, man? Good Day Farms sells fucking spray packs of Super Shake over here
oh,
in Arkansas. It's the nastiest shit I've ever smoked anywhere.
oh.
They get shake, like, you get your handcrafted shake like
Yeah,
this, right?
right.
Like, they must lay it out on a fucking piece of parchment and get the spray gun or something because
Oh,
it's black and it's got this distillate. It says it's infused,
oh,
right?
yeah,
Awful distillate flavor that's on it, and it's just terrible, terrible.
man,
It's the
yeah.
worst thing
You
I've
can
ever
always tell
smoked.
when it's like black like that. You're like, oh no. I've seen some dark purple strains, but straight black, no. Mm-mm. Oh,
This is sticky shake that,
ugh.
and I mean, they call it super shake. They say that it's infused, and it's from Good Day Farms. Good Day is a big multi-state operator. They
Mm,
they produce medical cannabis and recreational in a lot of
mm.
markets, and I know for sure over here in Arkansas and down in
Wow.
Louisiana, a couple other states. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
they're
remember this was gosh, probably a decade ago now. In when I was living in Denver, this was when I was working at dispensaries, and there was one called Little Brown House, and shout out to them if they're even still around. It was this tiny little brown house in the middle of Denver, and it was the first place I'd ever heard or seen sprayed flower, and they had big nuts. They said were sprayed with hash on it, and it was. I remember when I first used it, it was half decent. It wasn't like medical caviar, or medical grade moon rocks or anything. But I remember thinking like, where is this going? And it's wild to see it now in the hemp side. Just you'll see it shake that they just like you said, lay out on a table and just spray with the spray gun. It's like, oh,
oh
they're
god, I can
oh,
only imagine what they're doing in the hemp space.
oh,
Somebody drives with the actual shellac gun.
right? Oh, yeah. I mean, well, and then like Jerry and I, we talked about when companies started selling the Bovida packs or boost packs that were terpene infused because it's like,
I
I,
never saw that.
yeah, it's like
Holy crap!
talk about another way a company could just slip one in there and be like, oh yeah, this pack smells great. Smells like lemony or it's oh yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
you
Or to infuse it with myrcene.
flavored Bovedas.
It's like
Yeah, bro.
mm, that's
It can infuse up to an ounce 3 times.
Oh,
Like,
I get
put
out of here.
so
it puts
buy
the
some
herbs
bushy
up in
shit and
the
oh
air so that then the moisture that goes into the flower or however the fuck these work. Next thing
Wow.
you know, all of a sudden, if you put the limonene pack in, you got a
lemon pound cake.
lemon.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
here you go, lemon cherry gelato when it's really just the
That's
worst shit.
crazy,
lemon
man.
scout cookies,
Yeah,
lemon whatever you want. Like, ooh.
yeah, right. No, it's
I don't know what
insane.
I did with my bowl,
Lemon
but I
tobacco, for God's sakes, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna throw my oregano in the jar and see if it works as it is.
They be doing
yeah,
that though, spraying some oregano at this point. Oh,
man, you never know. That's exactly why it's good to have people like us out here vetting out these products because it's scary to see I didn't have such a large audience before,
mm,
but just the lack of knowledge about the plant because when you're this far into the scene as we are, you kind of think I do. I kind of forget. I kind of think that people have like a base level of common knowledge about things, and I totally forget that we're so far ahead in knowledge about this stuff compared
Yeah,
to normal people in the market.
for
I
sure.
don't even explain THCA in my videos. I thought about that 2 weeks ago.
Mm,
Like, imagine if you're clicking on this and you see THCA flower review, and you're like, "Sweet, I'm gonna go learn what THCA flower is."
mm,
Yeah.
I don't
sure,
even mention that in the reviews anymore. I just go straight into talking about that specific flower. What a dude thinks I'm talking about some CBD shit. They're acting all
true.
crazy, acting high. Like,
Oh
Yeah.
man, you're always gonna get those comments, no matter what. The only one I don't, I made a video called "Exploring the Thin Line," and it's just I go through and explain exactly what THCA flower is,
Yeah.
hemp, and I break down that it's actually a legal term. I go through and explain scientifically. I'd go through with like actual lab results from medical and hemp market, and I show the five chemotypes of cannabis. I display the formula on decarboxylation and explain how that works.
Yeah,
So it's pretty. I haven't had anybody challenge me in the comments on that one. I
that's
put it
good.
right top of my page for anybody who's not subscribed. So as soon as they get there, that's the first. And it wasn't age restricted because I didn't smoke in it, but I did show some products. So they
Mm,
ended up. I think somebody reported it
okay.
because it age restricted after 2 now.
Well, that's good. I think every content creator in this space should have a video like that on their page. And you're right. I think we have a responsibility. You know, you can lose sight of how much we actually know compared to the average consumer and person maybe getting into this space. And I think there are several creators where that responsibility is just an oversight. You know, like Jerry, you talked about taking blinkers in Target and pissing off the guy walking next to you is not helping break the stigma. You know, it's like
We've got
it's
lazy
yeah,
creative too. I'm gonna grab some smoke off
yeah, absolutely.
back here and select a jar from
Yeah,
the.
right from the mass selection there. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
The good old stash of
We'll,
probably just
we'll go with a
the
little
last couple
handcrafted
months.
grape
That's
ape today.
oh, such a good strain, man. One of the
We'll
classics. So
flip it
good.
around, look at it under the light here. If I've got a decent light,
Love it.
I like man on Facebook or on Facebook, YouTube rather. The free you can turn on your flashlight. Where I'm trying to figure this thing out here. I'm so confused. What's going on? 3 cameras.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
look at
that's
that.
trying to get it with some light. There we go. This one has got some crazy foxtails on it. I broke the
Yeah, look at
top.
that. That's
Oh,
beautiful.
it is. I got this way back on 420. I did a 420 vlog with Cowboy
Yeah.
in Nashville, and I got the handcrafted half-ounce drop. I got Motorhead, I got this, and I got Airheads. I was so damn happy when I was able to. Like, if you ever get on there and you see the $44 half ounces, I'm like trying to get that shit checked out. I was so fucking nervous that I put in my phone
Not
number
so
instead of my
fast.
email address when I checked out.
Oh man. That's funny. Yeah, it's like, oh, check out, get it, get it, get it. You know?
Right? I didn't think they existed. It's the only time I've ever been able to get the halves.
Yeah, no, those are the first thing to sell out.
Oh yeah.
That's like 2 minutes early to the drop type
And then
arrival.
people will be like, "Oh, the halves are sold out. I guess I'll wait till next time."
It's crazy.
It
And
is
I'm like,
crazy.
"Do
If the half
six,
sell out, I'm
18
buying the 7 grams
eighths,
of the rest.
yeah, $25 quarters. I promise you'll be happy with them. Promise."
I mean, the 1850 for the ounce of pre-ground. People are like it
That's
doesn't taste
crazy.
the best. I'm like, it's 1850 for the ounce,
And
and
it
Dude,
works.
got you stoned.
I load with it. What I do is I put it. I got this jar right here, and so whenever I
Yeah.
get through rolling something, if I got any scraps, the scraps will go right in there. And then I get this over at the med shop. This is that bouillon. This is a bubble hash. This is a
Oh yeah,
peanut.
look at
Like I
that.
get $20, and I just dump the whole jar off in there
Oh.
and shake it up,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can load their bomb bowls on the go to have something real quick to smoke. And
Absolutely.
effective. It's
Oh
of
yeah.
course not your favorite smoke, but I mean I've got so many like little pieces of weed that I'm not gonna smoke for until I got like a special episode, a special reason to be
Sure.
smoking it, right?
No, I get you.
$20 for an ounce and got your favorite smoke. That would be insane.
No kidding. And but like you said, the quality for the price, it's compared to other shake you can get, it's insane. It's
Oh,
way
it's ridiculous.
it's ridiculous.
That you
Don't
said it
smoke
right
other
there. Compared to
shakes.
other shake that you can get,
Yeah,
the
like
other shake is going to be more expensive and it's going to be fucking awful.
yes, and taste terrible. Like oh.
It not get you high whatsoever.
Yep.
Like I've got a fucking tolerance. I fucking roll up huge joints with all sorts of hash in them. So if I can load a cone or something and get a head change off of it, that's a
For
good deal.
sure. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And then you trust that it's not riddled with fucking crazy shit coming from David.
Absolutely. That's one thing I love most about their product. It's like you can rest assured what you're getting is good, you know? Yeah.
And the price is great value. I mean, my whole it's the only one that I religiously buy. Is like I get every drop.
Yeah.
I've have, and I get something from every drop. It's always good. It's
Yes.
always works.
Yes.
I get like in the beginning, after I got the Poppy Rocky and the Tropicana cookies in my second video, I had to force myself to get some like Dr. Ganja and other shit
Yep.
to mix
Yep.
to
Yep.
try to gain viewers and
Yeah.
joke around
Sure.
of handcrafted farmers.
No
You remember
kidding.
touching all the fucking packs? There wasn't 200 of us.
Yeah, it's so crazy. They blew up so fast, and you're right, and it's hard because you find yourself going back like I gotta get other stuff, but just the price per quality for them, it's unmatched. You every pack you get, it's you know what you're gonna get, you know it's gonna be a good experience, it's quality, and the price is just so good.
Ridiculous, man. It
It's
is.
insane. It really is, and I love supporting them too. You know,
It's like when
You
you
know,
go to a kitchen and
two
you
other
get a
jobs,
chef
right?
visit.
so
He and
cool.
his partner run the place. That's fucking insane. I'm like, dude, why don't you just charge $5 more a bag and quit going?
Right, quick on your job. Yeah.
I mean, he must really like. I get it. Well, he lives in California, so there's that.
Yeah. Okay. True.
These are expensive where you are. Fuck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No doubt. Absolutely. Absolutely. But no, that's wild. Good on them though.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's part of why their nature, their operation works the way it does. They're able to keep the quality at what it is because they're not trying to scale in such a way that a lot of these companies do before they're ready, and then it turns into corner cutting and other things that they have to do to meet their bottom line.
Well, what happened was, like Handcrafted and Puffy kind of got the same deal. They were wholesalers and they just cut out the fucking middleman on that shit and went direct
Hmm.
market with wholesale prices.
Yeah, amazing.
David just brought the wholesale to the consumer and cut it because there were so many consumer brokers here that were buying up wholesale flour, repacking it. Still goes on, and that's cool. I appreciate that. But
Sure,
man,
sure, sure.
let's get some decent packaging. Let's put some testing on the product. Let's make sure it's good product.
Yep, yep,
Let's provide something to the customer. I
yes.
mean, if you're buying the same shit that I can buy and throwing it into a labeled jar and putting a Dynamo label on it and not even doing anything else, I mean, what value are you adding to the process?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yep.
I mean, packaging at least is part of the, branding an item is part of the customer experience. That's what drives me crazy for lit. These fucking jars, man. The artwork.
Yep,
I mean, the
yep,
flower.
yep,
They're really good marketing.
yeah,
Excellent marketing.
yep.
And they pay special marketing firms. I applied with denied me. I'm so fucking mad. I've been harassing them. I've been like, you see all them fucking views? They still won't answer me.
Oh man.
I
I
feel
don't
like
know
you'll
why.
work with
That's
Lit one day.
probably could. So what?
I feel like you can get Lit to respond. I hear they're a 3-person. Talking about small teams, I've learned they're a 3-person team in the end of the day.
Who's that?
Lit.
Really?
Yeah, they're not some massive operation either. Most of these hemp companies really
I thought
don't
Lit
end up
what Lit
being
the
too
cannabis
big.
company. They're not just a I mean they sell lit in medical dispensaries and recreational dispensaries all across the country. They sell seeds and all that. I didn't from what I understand, they got a huge facility. You not seen all the stuff, right?
I've seen these big videos, etc., but they also respond to customer service emails saying, "Sorry for the wait. Please give us some patience as we're just a 3-person team."
Yeah, that's
So,
their customer service department answering emails there. Not their whole company. Shit. They're
Well, and
getting
that's
I mean, they're Maybe, yeah, three-person team does their customer service, but they phrase it as, and maybe strategically, like the company.
Sure.
So,
Well, and I think that's another
Uh,
huge oversight, though, that these companies don't, most of them don't either anticipate or just have experience in is the customer service aspect. Like, you know what I mean? We talk about that a lot, not to shamelessly plug CanServe, but like we talk about that all the time. It's like there has to be some regularity and a place that customers can come to, consumers can come to, and get help about their product, feel seen and heard, and serviced. And sadly, a lot of these hemp companies are glorified plugs that took advantage of, and props to you and love the appreciate the hustle, but now they have a business that they're trying to scale that they've never ran before and don't know how to do that, and then they're trying to play a customer service manager and marketer and business owner, and you know.
it's not just that. It's a lot of them are just Reddit trolls that are fucking repacking shit.
Oh,
And
totally.
have a customer complaint, they're going to try to publicly fucking, do whatever and fucking put your information out there.
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen a lot of these vendors. There's vendors that are on YouTube that will post your emails and their videos and talk all kind of crazy stuff about
Yep.
you as a customer, just for airing it, expressing a complaint privately through email. And that kind of stuff, just like, I'm like, holy fuck,
Oh, for sure.
who in the world does business that way? Excuse
Absolutely.
my language, but man, as I mean, you're dealing with a customer who made a purchase on your website from a product who you might want to be like a lifelong customer or to refer friends as well.
Yep.
But instead, because they had a complaint, instead of just handling it, like there's a lot of ways to handle complaint to make somebody really happy. You
Absolutely.
can away from that situation, telling everybody they know, singing praises to you.
Absolutely.
Or you can hang yourself publicly, like some people do, and they
Yes.
do it all on Frank's list. A lot of vendors
Yes.
do it. I don't call any names
Sure.
because Jerry's not to call names,
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
but they do it, man.
Mm-hmm.
They do it. They're there, and I see. Okay, I will never buy anything from that person. I will never recommend them
Yep.
because if they will talk in public that way, just imagine how they're going to talk to you when you have a problem with an issue with your purchase.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you see it all the time. Like you said, you'll see companies that'll do it. They'll post about it, and you see on Reddit, you'll see customers that'll post. And when you find a Reddit thread of 400 messages where it's all a consistent response from the company of,
Mhm.
okay, go buy from someone else then, or trying to educate the customer with complete wrong information. It's we saw one response one time, and again, won't name the company, but they said, yeah, someone had complained that they bought three different strains, and it was very visibly obvious that all the flour was the same flour. And the company's response was, well, because we buy from the same farm, all of their flour is going to look and smell the same no matter what strain it is. And
Wow.
I was like, can we
Now,
not?
no clue what they're talking about. And
Exactly.
that's a bit I have with if you're operating in the cannabis space and you don't know anything or even care about the plant, what are you doing?
What are you
you
doing?
know?
Absolutely. Yep. It's
it's the
it.
common go-to line I now watch out for. I'm in it because I truly believe in the medical aspect,
Mm.
but I don't smoke myself. When people start talking that narrative where it's like you don't smoke but you believe in the medical aspect, you can't truly understand how cannabis is medical until you experience it.
True.
It
Yeah.
is a
You can be
different
for
type
it
of
conceptually.
medicine.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a completely different set. You can see how it helped your brother and love it because of that, but you will
Right.
never understand how it is used as medicine because you don't use cannabis like you use Ritalin in the morning or like you use a Xanax. It won't
Right.
work that way.
No. And people are
I
looking
mean,
for it to be that way.
there's no way around the therapeutic benefits of cannabis, period. Just like look at just chilling in the live stream with 70 people from all around the world. Everybody's positive. Just that is a therapeutic benefit for everybody there. They're being uplifted. They're in a better mood. They've got a better perception of the entire world.
Yes.
And it's not just because that cannabis has enhanced their connection with other people. They've connected over that commonality, and
Hmm.
it's enhanced that whole thing, and now they've got a different perception of things around them,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
acceptance of people.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and it does that. It softens your edges. It makes you more receptive and introspective, and you want to connect and relate more with others. And it like you said, there is just no discounting the therapeutic benefits of the plant. And I love the way I love Seth Rogen's take on it. He did an interview a few years ago with someone, I forget the name of who it was, but he asked him, do you smoke weed every day? And he goes, yeah, every day. He goes, like, seriously, every day? He goes, yeah. He's like, did you smoke weed before this interview? He goes, well, today is a day. Yes, I smoke it every day. And he was like, I smoke because he goes, it's an added benefit to my life. Do you look at people who wear shoes when they go outside and go to the grocery store as like a crutch because they need shoes, or has it just been accepted that this adds a level of quality and comfort to their daily life that they would like to have every day? Same with sunglasses or clothing or whatever. And he doesn't really touch for himself too much on the therapeutic aspect, but I love that element of it too because, like you said, Jerry, people are
Yeah,
looking at it as Ritalin in the morning or oxycodone for people that are really uneducated, and it's like, no, it's more like yoga or a jog in the morning, or it's that type of habitual therapy, and it does have clinical therapeutic benefits that are measurable, absolutely. But people want to look at it as medicine in one traditional sense and then make a biased perspective from that.
people like to preach at hilltops when they're talking
So
about
true.
cannabis. It is both. It's recreational and therapeutic at the
Of
same
course.
time. It's
Of course.
not here for anything, but it's definitely, it provides a great deal of comfort and a better quality of life
Yes.
for a lot of people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's the cure for the world," blah, blah, you didn't know, but
No.
it's really great thing. You
Absolutely.
know, it it
Yep.
Necessary head change
Yeah.
multiple times a day for me when I need to quickly shift gears, when I need to
Yes.
exactly.
change my thought process completely, when
Yeah,
I
if you
have
need to bring
things
yourself
going
like
off and I need to still finish that task and I need a break instead of stepping out for a cigarette like my grandfather would. And I step out for a joint, and I feel like the head change benefits me more than nicotine
Yep.
scientifically
absolutely.
could
Yep.
getting that task done.
Yep.
Absolutely. Like I here you see all of my trophies back here. I compete in strongman, amateur strongman competitions, and I will smoke in between events because these will last all day and we do all sorts of crazy. I have another YouTube called Strength Circus,
Hmm.
and you can see some crazy shit I do on there. But I will smoke in between events, or I'll have a cart or my bowl in a car or whatever, because I just get so hyped up doing this stuff that it helps keep me grounded and chilled in between where I just
Sure.
not move adrenalized for 8 hours of the day
Oh,
while we're
for
trying to
sure.
get through the event, because I might have 5 events
Yeah.
and one a go time for each one, but I need to
Wow.
be there all day to wait, to go.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think there's even like in some of the recreational uses, there's an underlying, some people may not call it a medical use, but an underlying alleviation or something that they find more than just like you enjoy it. If you just want to say use it recreationally because if you find it relaxing, well, so it's semantic, but I'd argue that's still technically a medicinal
That's
benefit,
yeah, that's still
absolutely.
if
Yeah.
you're relaxed,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Yep. Well, and like you said, when you need a quick mental change, and I talked about this in a video that I posted today, it's so good for that. And that's where it comes down to the person using it. And like you said, people say it's a cure for everything, and it's not. And you can the something that isn't talked about enough, I feel like, is people can often, I've done this, I've been guilty of this in my past, can use cannabis as a way to not to check out. And the the both
Yeah,
the double-edged sword about it is like, if you suffer with depression and you need to get out of that negative loop of just going downhill, it will pull you out of that loop, but it's what you do after that. And some people will get out of that loop and then just stay in that funk, whereas others will use the power of getting out of that frame of mind to change some things and propel them forward. And that is
Hmm.
where cannabis can be truly powerful, is when you can use it as that stepping stone to help make change in your life easier. It's, that's how, at least for me, I've found like it helps me be a better dad. It helps me in when I have a really short fuse, or if I'm just having a bad mental day, like it can, you
Like
know.
if you're having a real rough day, you can go and have you a dab, sit there, and
Mhm.
meditate on everything, and get yourself back under control. But I've got a son who's 19. He's a Marine in Japan, and I've got two stepkids here, 9 and 11. All of them are great, but still, it's stressful having kids around. I got to get up during the school year, and get them up at 5:30. I get up earlier. I get up at 4 a.m. and start editing videos. Generally, that for a long time, I was before everything went crazy. That was the schedule. I'd film a video at night, then I'd get up in the morning, I'd edit it, and I would post it while I was getting the kids ready and cooking
Sure.
my breakfast and lunch. I'd have my laptop on the kitchen island, sitting there uploading it because I'd spend my time here. I get up 4 o'clock, spend an hour and a half editing the videos before I get the kids up. Hit some ball grips in here,
Yep.
get them up and
Yep.
breakfast and get ready for work.
Yep. It's a magical time of day as a dad, that early morning when the house is still quiet.
It's nobody can bother you, right?
Yes,
No,
sir.
there's no
Absolutely,
one's gonna bother
man. Absolutely. Yep. It's peaceful. No
you.
one, you're not needed right now for that brief amount of time. Absolutely. Yep. It's a
Once
special
I get
time.
my
It's
first bottle, it's on the clock.
it's time to get things done. I like to knock out projects in
Yep.
the morning like that. I've built Bibles. I've done a lot of stuff early morning like that.
That's so cool. So I saw you'd said at the beginning you had a lot of bicycles on the wall. So you have a cycling passion. Explain how you got into
Oh
that.
yeah. Oh man, how did I get into that? Let me see. How did I get? I just, I bought a bike right around 2020, right before 2020, and I bought a bike. I got a $200 bike from Walmart. I rode bikes growing up all my life, and I always, loved bikes as a kid. But as an adult, I was in my later 30s, and I bought a bike from Walmart. I was living in Memphis at the time still, and I would get up, and funny enough, I just started back smoking. I got out of federal prison. I was on probation for a while, so I went about 5 years without smoking.
Hmm.
So I got into smoking, and I just found the carts, right? So I was getting some carts. My wife didn't know that I smoked, had a cart hidden. I get up in the morning, hit that cart, get on my bike, and there wouldn't be a car on the city streets at all, man. I get out and just fly down the streets, and it rapidly progressed from there. 2020 hit, the gyms closed, and you had to stay away from everybody. So man, I rode my bike over 5,000 miles in 2020, and
Wow.
I ran over 6 miles in
Wow.
20. Yeah.
Wow.
So I would get up every morning and just run like 8 miles, just take out
Yeah.
running out from I could go run down the trails by the Wolf River from my house in Memphis, and it was a cool little route I had. I do some bike packing and stuff like that too. Like I went to the national forest and shit and camp, and I did I think it was back in February, right before I started this. I did a little trip up in Illinois.
Hmm. Oh, very cool. That's awesome.
I think I'm gonna do one. I'm gonna do like an episode soon because I live near a national forest in Hollis Springs, Mississippi. So I think I'm going to take the bike out and I'm going to ride down and set up camp, take my bong and everything. And it'll be a fun little adventure. Do some cooking out there and all
Oh,
that.
heck yeah. Oh, that's gonna be a blast. That'll be a
'Cause,
good video too, for sure.
yeah,
You
I
kidding?
got some older videos where I'm riding my bike around and shit. Like when I'm roll blunts, I got one where I'm riding past the camera and all that shit.
Oh, nice.
And I show riding up the hill.
Yeah.
I put a little work into my videos. I don't just it's not always just sitting here.
Sure. No, man, that's very cool. We're wrapping up to about an hour. So mention again for everybody watching where they can find you on YouTube and your strongman channel. Mention that one too, for sure.
I Cannabis and Coffee on YouTube. If you haven't seen me out there yet, I've kind of getting around there on that channel. And Strength Circus is my strongman channel.
Very
I've
cool.
only got about 100 people on there. So
Well, hey, Strength Circus,
Don't
go
blow
check
up
it out. Blow that channel up too, y'all. Absolutely. Hey, man. Well, listen, we really appreciate you being here. We'll have to have you back on the show. This was an absolute pleasure and blast. So
for
again, you are on the rise, man. Props. I'm stoked to see where you go, and let's see how many subs you have in a week, because it's gonna be thousands
dude,
more. I have no doubt.
man, I can't believe I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm honored to be sitting here talking to you guys. What in the hell, man? I haven't even been doing this 6 months.
It's
Not even
amazing, man. We appreciate you being here, man. The pleasure is ours. It really is.
hey,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's
Very
part
cool.
of the community, man.
Hell yeah. Awesome, you guys. Take care.
You too, man.